Happy Monday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Today, we've got a fun show as listener Matt from New Jersey joins us again to talk about his solo trip. It really was not a solo trip because when you have friends in the Disney community, folks always pop up on those vacations to Walt Disney World to hang out with you. So we talk about his stay at the B. He was also at the Boardwalk. He was also at All-Star Movies for about 7 hours. We talk about times in all 4 Disney theme parks, first experiences with Rise and Ratatouille and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and more, Guardians as well, and just having a good time down at Walt Disney World. So if you need a virtual vacation to Walt Disney World, strap in. We've got it for the next 45 minutes. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys keep us on the air. I cannot thank you enough for that. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2592 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from beourguestpodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend, and we are inching closer and closer to the holiday season. Yes, all the commercials have started. You might have seen a neighbor or two up with the Christmas lights. I'm begging my wife. It's not happening around the Rallman household. It's too early for her, so it's too early for me still. But the tree will be appearing here in the podcast studios very, very soon with those bubble lights, which I love so much from the 50s. They're going to be happening soon. I love this time of the year. We're getting close, so hang in there. It's the most wonderful time of the year, but it's Monday. And we're glad that you're back, and we're going to be talking some Walt Disney World vacation memories today with a friend of the show. He's been on the show 5 times before. He's back. We're headed out to New Jersey. Matt is here. Matt, how are things out on the East Coast? What's going on?
Yeah. Hey, welcome. It's good to be back. Thanks for having me. Things are going well, just super busy with work, the family. I'm in New Jersey. If anyone else is local, it's kind of been a drought. We've got, wildfires going on. So, it's all types of excitement, but otherwise, doing well. And I really, can't complain else,
Wildfires in New Jersey. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, that's the last place I would think, if you're going to say wildfires, the California, maybe Wyoming, Montana, New Jersey. I don't think of that. I've never been out that way. So if somebody from Missouri, if I'm going to visit New Jersey, like what's the 1 or 2 things I need to see as a tourist?
It's tough because everyone comes in, everyone thinks of Newark, which is it's right next to the city. But New Jersey's great because we have, of course, the Jersey Shore, which is super popular. So many great beaches: Long Beach Island, Cape May, which I visited for the first time. That's the very southern tip of New Jersey. Beautiful area down there. But you also have like the mountains. So up north, there's different lodges you could go to. There's campgrounds. There's lots of hiking. New Jersey is like the best of so many different worlds. Like we got the cities near us. We got Philly, New York City, Atlantic City, if you want to go. So we have a lot going on. So definitely come to New Jersey. And if you need, need somewhere to go, I'll help you out.
I'll definitely let you know. Cause my daughter, Mallory, she's dying to go to New York City, especially, this time of the year. She wants to see all the Christmas lights and the big tree and the, ice skating rink at, I guess, Rockefeller Center and all that. She thinks she's in a movie.
It's definitely the busiest time of year, but it's the time I usually try to avoid it. But me being a local, but It is honestly New York is beautiful. There's so many great decorations. You do have the tree, the Rockefeller Center tree. Yeah, it's beautiful. If you ever come to New York, definitely visit the downtown New York. I worked in that area for like 5 years, and that's my favorite part of the city, usually because like on the weekends it's super quiet because it's usually just all business down there, but it's also a very beautiful part of the city. So
Yeah, Scotty G visited a couple years ago, and I just followed him around on Find My Friends. Like I saw his hotel where
yeah,
he was staying and all the places. It was really
yeah,
it was cool just to watch on Find My Friends. But I'm sure it'd
yeah.
be amazing to get out
Yeah.
there. But hey,
Well, you
go
always,
ahead.
you always talk about mini golf on the show, like putt putt. For the first time, there was a place just yesterday. There was like this indoor putt putt place, like bar, food, all this. If it was a work event, and I was like, okay, this would be in the city. I never knew about it, but of course, you have like three different courses in like one area. It was pretty awesome.
Dude, Scott is just now he's tuned in as we're recording, and I guarantee he's looking at flights because that dude is
Yeah,
the putt putt. He plays putt putt wherever he goes. I mean, he
yeah.
is the
It's
miniature golf master. His
yeah,
whole
it's called
family.
Swingers Club in New York
Oh
City.
my
Weird, kind of a
god!
weird name for it, but that's what it's called. So
I don't know if I'm knocking on that door. I'm just saying. But let's get into the Disney here before we get
yeah,
an adult rating. But
absolutely.
so we're going to talk about your trip. Now you went on a solo trip, and it was a while back because again we have kind of a little bit of lead time on these shows because we have so many requests. But I think it is interesting to get your take on things, especially with a solo trip because you travel down and you have a unique perspective on things. So what led you to go down solo? Because you are a family man, but why'd you go down solo back a couple summers ago? You want to talk about today?
Yeah, it was. I hadn't been to Disney in a couple years. I had my daughter, and we were planning. I had my first daughter, and we were planning on going to Disney on a longer trip. But I was like, just really itching to get down there. And with like it was probably like in a month before I left. I talked to my wife, and she was like, "Yeah, go down, have some fun." So I decided just to like book a trip. And I did Disneyland solo for like one day, but I've never done Walt Disney World solo. I've been many times throughout my life. Usually it's like week-long vacations, but I've never took a short turnaround trip like this. But yeah, it was just really itching to get down there. I'd park top to did all four parks. It was very food and drink focused trip too. But also, as it is, like this solo trip really didn't turn into a solo trip at all. So, we'll kind of get into that. But yeah, so that's how I got down there.
So you stayed at All Star Movies, but you originally looked like you had the B booked, which I don't even know if it's still called the B. Maybe it is.
I think so. Yeah, it's still there.
Is it? Because I also stayed at the B for a cheerleading competition, and
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty decent hotel. If you actually end up staying there, I was
Yeah.
just because
I did.
Okay, so I poo-pooed it really hard on the podcast, and the reason I poo-pooed it is because I just wanted to be on site.
No,
I was mad.
do not give yourself a hard time because I booked it because of you.
Okay,
This was
and it was fine.
yeah.
It was
It was
it's a fine
great.
hotel. It's a fine
Yeah.
hotel. I was just mad because I wanted to be on, and I want to be like an
Oh
all
yeah.
star.
Yeah.
Like I'm a Disney guy. So
Our
give me your
circumstance was
thoughts.
Yeah,
Go
our
ahead.
circumstance was we had a trip planned, but we added 2 days. We did the Disney math, and it made sense to come in earlier, and we did 2 nights at the B Resort because you had just stayed there, and it was actually a very reasonably priced hotel. Um, and I thought it was fine right next to Disney Springs. And what happened was for this trip, I just needed a place to stay for the night, because I knew I was getting in late on a Thursday night. So I was like, okay, B Resort, very reasonable. But then I realized that because of how I wanted to visit the parks, I want early entry, and I also wanted first dibs at lightning lanes, and virtual queues and all that. So it's like, well, I need to be on property to get that. So I moved myself to All Star Movies, which I had never stayed in before. So that was fun. But that was for the one night. I had booked Beach Club Deluxe Studio with DVC points for the other 2 nights. So.
Nice. So what'd you think? Just real quick, what'd you think about the vibe over at All Stars? Because really they're all three the same, just kind of different theming elements. But what was the vibe over there like for you?
I mean, honestly, Mike, my flight was delayed. I was hoping to spend some time there. I only got there by 11:45 at night. I took a Mears Connect bus over, which was a good experience. And then we woke up at like 6 o'clock to get showered up, get our fast passes, and then we were moving
Out
our
of there.
stuff over to Boardwalk. So I was there like less than 7 hours. I got there. My buddy who was with me, he got me a cupcake when I met him there. And, so I was barely there, but it was a cool vibe though. I'm like, okay, this would be a great place for kids. I was staying in the Mighty Duck area. Growing up, I watched the Mighty Ducks, especially D2, the Mighty Ducks. I watched it all the time as a kid in the 90s, and just seeing the big duck like helmet and
one of the
stick
best
was
logos
awesome.
of all time in
It
any
is.
sport.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
agreed. Yeah.
If I'd
So
have
it
known-
was
yeah.
it was great, but less than like 8 hours there. So
That's a shame. Yeah, because you know what? The thing is, like, I always tend to go to Pop Century, right? Because of Skyliner, and I love the vibes of Pop Century. But
Mhm.
there are times where I will like stay a night or two, just kind of like you, like it'll be an add-on or something, like,
yeah,
well, I'll just add on a night at sports or something, And like the
Mhm.
thing is, when I get over there, like I am enthralled. Like I'm not disappointed ever when I'm
No.
at an All-Star because it's my jam. Like they're super high energy. There's a lot of kids. There's a lot of
Yeah.
noise. There's a lot of excitement. But I like the vibe. Like I like the big tennis, the Coke can staircases, if
Mhm.
you're in music, the big cowboy boot or the big, jukebox
Yeah.
or whatever the jazz in. It's just they're well done. I think that some people think of the All-Stars as kind of like a second class like citizen of the values, right? I mean, you got like the
Mhm.
art and pop kind of, and then you got the second class citizens of the All-Stars. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily think so. I mean, transportation wise, maybe because you don't have the Skyliner, but you can
Yeah.
have a good time at those hotels. They're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely for sure. Yeah.
So let's walk through. You mentioned real quick. Let me get you. You said Mears was a good experience for you because you had previously done Magical Express many times. So it
Mhm.
worked out well for you solo, just getting over from MCO to Walt Disney World.
Yeah. I was trying to do this on somewhat of a budget. I was like, all right, well, it's just me. I don't need to like take Uber. So I was like, let me try Mears Connect. And looking at the prices like now between then, it's still like $32, $34 round trip per adult, which was great. It does take a little bit of time. But again, going to MCO, flying in the MCO, going to the same area. What is it? I forget the area down there. But where Magical Express was, you just go to that same spot, you find your bus and you hop on. I didn't have to wait very long because again, it was very late at night. I think I was like one of like 3 people on the bus. So I got there pretty quickly. On the way home, though, it was a little rough because I had like a 9:30 flight Sunday morning. So I was getting picked up at 5:45. They have to do that 3-hour window, but I was the first of 4 or 5. I think it was like 4 groups to get picked up. So I had to wait and sometimes people were not on time to the shuttle because this was also a 12 passenger person shuttle, like a bus. It wasn't like a huge like passenger bus. It only fit 12 people, so it was a small shuttle that drove me there to the airport. But that's the experience they told you. It's like 3 hours before your trip, so I knew what I was getting myself into. So it's like if you're just looking to save some money, it's great. It doesn't have the Disney magic, but it saves you money, not time. But if you want to save money, do it. So
And I always just get on those suckers and fall asleep anyway. I mean, that's
yeah.
my trick.
I think that's what I did on the way, to the resort. So yeah.
I'm the master. I can fall asleep anywhere anytime at
Yeah.
this point in my life. It doesn't take me long. All right. So on these solo trips where you're there with your buddy, right? You're down there to kind of maximize as many experiences you can get in as little amount of time as possible. So you're there basically for the weekend. So how do you get things rolling? It looks like Friday you got up early and the festivities began. So walk us through it.
Yeah, so Friday the plan was we were going to do Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Now my best friend, again, I told you this was supposed to be a solo trip, but coincidentally my best friend was visiting family in Florida and also doing something in Tampa. And the day I was going, he's like, I have a free day, and he's like, can I join you? I'm like, yeah. So he lives in Atlanta, so I never see him anymore. So it was really great that we were able to spend that time together. So he was with me all day Friday. So yeah, we got up early. We left All-Star Movies. We went to Boardwalk, which where I was staying. I checked in. I dropped my bags off. Of course, the room wasn't ready at 7:30 a.m. But the plan was to, go to the boardwalk and get some breakfast. So we went to the boardwalk deli. My buddy got a sandwich. I got like the snickerdoodle muffin, which was really good. It's still there. So the boardwalk deli was good. And then, we strolled through Epcot, through the international showcase. And, I had an early morning group for Guardians of the Galaxy, which I had never been on before. So I was like super excited. And later that day, I booked a fast pass for Rise of the Resistance, individual Lightning Lane, which at the time I had never been on before either. I had also never been on Remy, and I'd never been on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I was trying to go on all 4 of those rides while I was there for the first time. So yeah, early morning, we were going to pack in as much as we can. So we kind of in the beginning, we didn't rush to rides. We kind of meanderwayed through International Showcase, but I also kind of forgot that nothing's really open that early at International.
That's the problem.
Showcase, Yeah. We stopped over at one of the few spots that was open was like Oasis Sweets and Sips in Morocco. But you actually can get pastries for a pretty good deal over there. I think it's one of the good bargains they have on property. So we just kind of meandered around there, and if you want photos of International Showcase, that's also one of the best times to go because the early morning lighting is good and there's no crowds. There's no one there because everyone's rushing to the different rides. So.
Yeah, because in the afternoon, evening, it's packed. You're right. In the lighting, you're exactly right. I mean, you don't think about the lighting, but you got that beautiful morning sunlight. You're coming up.
Yeah, the morning glow.
Oh my gosh, it's good. And you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about with the Oasis Sweets and Sips in Morocco. I've never had anything from there, but I have walked past there longingly many times. Like that stuff in that case looks really good.
Yeah, no, it is. Everything was fantastic. Baklava is probably the most famous kind of pastry you can get, but they have, if you like almond flavored stuff, they have all these different almond cookies and treats. They have a ton. So yeah, definitely recommend it if you're just looking for like small bites too. So, it won't fill you up or anything like that.
You see, it's what I love about Walt Disney World and just the Disney destinations in general is that I've walked past that. And I know, when you said that, I'm like, I know what Matt's talking about. And I've seen it 100 times, never, ever stop. Because the thing is, I'm such a creature.
I don't think anyone talks about it.
Well, nobody does. And I think a lot of us, we go back to our favorite haunts. Like I got this lately, I'm stuck on this new snack that I get over in Caramel Couche, where they get the popcorn. But it's not popcorn. It's like some kind of a fudge thing. But because I discovered that a couple years ago. But you got to kind of just try new things every time. But it's hard because you got to give up, the things you're
it's funny you say I call Caramel Couche. I
don't even know how you say it. Don't take your pronunciations from this guy. I'm telling you, I'm butchering. I promise you.
Well, one of my favorite snacks of all time, I should say, was the caramel apple oatmeal cookie. Oatmeal cookies are my favorite kind of treat. I love oatmeal cookies, and pre-pandemic, they were amazing. They also had a caramel glaze on it. But when I went to go get it on this trip, they weren't doing the glaze anymore. And I even asked them, I'm like, can you put the glaze on? They're like, no, unfortunately, we can't. It was still good, but the quality is just, it wasn't what it once was. So, that used to be my go-to spot every trip. But now it's I got to skip it now to go try something else.
Bring back the glaze, people.
We need the caramel glaze. We need
it. Seriously. Okay. So, but you mentioned, so let's, I want to dive into this a little further. So you had so many great e-ticket, E++ ticket attractions you're going to hit for the first time. Guardians, Ratatouille, Rise, Mickey and Minnie's. So it's just that one day. So let's break that down. When you got to them, did one outdo the other? What were your thoughts on these things? We'd all love to be able to go back to that again.
Yeah. I think, I'm going to talk about these attractions a couple different ways because, we all say, yeah, they're great or we love it. First I want to talk about Cosmic Rewind. And I did love it, but I also need to talk about the motion sickness part of it because I think that's something that a lot of people worry about who may not have been on it for the first time. So I have really bad motion sickness. I do take Dramamine every time I go to the parks. I can usually Expedition Everest. I can ride it once. I'm a little woozy afterwards. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm okay, but I'm not going to ride it. If it's a short line, I'm not going to go on it again. So with, Cosmic Rewind, first time being on it, I didn't know what it was going to be like. I try to keep away from spoilers. I realized like 20 minutes before your rode, I forgot to take my Dramamine, and usually you have to, let that kind of work into your system. But I was like, I'm not waiting. I took it, then 20 minutes went by. Then I went on it. We had an early boarding group 7, which was great. So I've now been on the coaster twice. No, maybe 3 times. But the first time I went on, I rode in the front in row 2, and I didn't get sick at all, like whatsoever. I was totally fine after I went. But on another trip, I sat in the way back, and there I felt it like hardcore. It wasn't like terrible, but like it was much worse than the first time. So I feel like, usually the back is the more wild part of the ride, but also like the coaster goes backwards too. So it's like
that's true in a more traditional roller coaster. And I've never thought about giving it much thought on that one, because that one is so like wild, because you're twisting, you go backwards. It's like, does it even matter at this point? Like if I'm in a washing machine, does it matter where I sit? Probably not.
I know,
kind of.
But all I know, in that front spot, I was way better off than I was in the back for Guardians. So
it's good tip.
Yeah, but otherwise, like smoothest coaster I've been on. Like it's phenomenal. I love it. My wife has actually yet to be on it, so we're actually going on a trip in March. So finally, she's excited to ride it. So she was pregnant the last 2 times we went, so she just hasn't been able to get on it yet. So.
My favorite spot to sit on that ride is the bench outside, just because that thing gets me, man. I'm too over that. I've done it twice, and it's amazing. It is unreal. Like I get it, man. I know why everybody loves it. It's wild. I mean, it is wild, but woo.
I know. And Alfred asked in the chat, what song did I get? I don't even remember. So I apologize.
September. Was the 20th?
Maybe, yeah.
That's the best one. Don't say conga. Okay.
Oh, actually, I think it was Conga, the Gloria Estefan song. Yeah, I think it was that one, because that was the first song that stuck out. I'm like, okay, I think it was at least one of the times I've been on it. So.
It's Ricky's song.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So hit there with Guardians. All right. So what about the other 3?
Yeah. So Remy was fine. I don't really have any real story to, talk about there. Remy was great. Think it's a great attraction. Mickey's Runaway Railway, great attraction, but I think it's just, there's so much going on. The first time I went on it, I'm like, I don't know what to look at. Like, that's one of my issues with the ride. So like every time I'm in there, I'm just like, my head's all around.
Yep.
So I think that's like one of the, detriments to the ride. But otherwise, it's fun, chaotic. So
you've been many times, though. Let me ask you, I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
would you Great Movie Ride or Remy if you had to, or not Great Movie Ride or Mickey and Minnie's? Which one would you take?
Oh man, I'm nostalgic, so I would say Great Movie Ride, mostly because I'm laser focused on what's happening. It's slow moving. It's not like a high octane action packed like surround, there's just not all this stuff going on to kind of like make me lose focus. So I think if Runaway Railway was kind of a little bit more focused, maybe I'd do that. But the nostalgia,
they're both. I wish we could have both. I just wish they didn't have to take one out to add. I hate that whole philosophy Disney has lately, that you got to take one out to add something, because Mickey and Minnie's is such a great attraction, but I just wish we didn't have to subtract to add anymore.
Yeah.
Like just throw it somewhere else, But it seems like they're doing that moving forward, it looks like. Well, I guess maybe not at Magic Kingdom. They're taking out Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island.
I know.
But we're getting Villains Land, so who knows? The math isn't mathing, but we'll talk about that another day. All right, so so we have what about Rise though? Okay, was the Force with you over there? How's that?
All right, so I had an amazing first time on Rise. Star Wars, I grew up loving Star Wars. I went in 2019, November 2019, but Rise had not been open yet. So I'd seen Galaxy's Edge. I've been on Smuggler's Run, but I had yet to go on Rise of the Resistance. So, we had a lightning lane for it. I paid for it. We got onto the queue, and, we were, if you know the queue well enough, the lightning lane had stopped like very close to where you go inside of like the cave area. So while we were standing outside, the heavens just open and like the, or maybe that's the wrong way to say that, but the rain just started downpouring on us. And that queue, you know how people just have a lot of space in the queue? It just collapsed so quickly, people cramming in to the inside of the, to the inside into the cave. And, my buddy and I, we got real lucky and we got just to the edge of the cave and we were able to take cover. But I just see all the people behind me just getting dumped on by rain. So, we got real lucky there. So we get in, we go through the attraction, or through the first part of that like area where you see Ray and stuff like that. So then, as you go outside to the transport ship, when we went outside, it's like, again, I had not seen any spoilers. So, spoilers for the ride if you've not been on it. But as you walk outside to that transport ship, it is, that portion is out, in the outdoors. So while you are covered, all the rain is just coming down outside. And I'm like, okay, I'm on an attraction, I'm covered, but like it just felt, I was already immersed as it was, but with the rain coming down outside, I felt even more immersed. So I have a video of it, and I still go back to it because it's just like, it was just one of those Disney memories that like riding it for the first time, I'll just never forget because it just made the experience so much even, so much better. Entering into this transport vehicle with this rain just downpouring on the outside. And it was just so cool. And then, we go in, we do the attraction. And again, I have no idea what to expect. The elevator part gave me like a big surprise because like you're on the ground and you get on this elevator and you go up, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And then I thought it was just so cool how you exit the queue on the outside too.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, this is phenomenal. This is awesome. Like it's just so, I can't believe there's an experience like that at Disney, and that's what, one of the reasons why I just love going to Disney. And I can't wait. We have some people coming on our trip in March, my in-laws, who had never, they have not been to Disney in a long time, who have not been on it. They're not the biggest Star Wars fans, but I'm just really excited to take them on that. So. And
I think you said it very well. It's that next generation of an experience. It's not even really an attraction because it's part show, it's part, ride, but it's also, it's got so many elements. You like you said, you're expecting one thing, something else happens. You're inside, you're outside. Am I back inside? Is that practical? Is that what's that? So yeah, it blew me away. It's definitely an experience. I mean, and I'm glad that is one thing that I am kind of excited that they do have on both coasts, because I'm not a big fan of, if they have it at Disneyland, we don't need it at World, but that one, that particular attraction. Okay. Cause it's that cool. Yeah. So what else about your day over at the studios though? I mean, anything like, anything stand out over there while you guys were spending time at the studios?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like that was the big thing I was really excited to do. We didn't do too much over there. I had a lot of different foods. I ate at Docking Bay 7 for the first time. I'd realized that I had not been in there the last time I'd visited Disney World. I had some really good food there. It was like the Felucian hummus plate. I forget what it's called. Really good. I think there's like falafel on it. I always get the Pop-Tarts over at, Woody's, what is it? Lunchbox. Yep. So I always go over there. They always have different Pop-Tarts for the time of year, depending on the different seasons. I was excited to go back to Oga's Cantina. My best friend had never been there before. And we got all these different drinks. One of my favorite drinks now, I was a little upset with it at the time, but it's a drink called the Jet Juice. It has like the Anche Reyes like chili liqueur in it, as well as I forget what are the other things in it. But I actually I've made it at home. I've gotten the recipe and made it myself. But it's like you get a small portion of it at Oga's Cantina, but like it packs a kick, and it's not one of those like chugger mixed drinks. It's like, no, you sip on this one, like, cause you don't want to, it's also, it's spicy too. but it's like, it's definitely jet juice, so I like, I recommend that if you've never had before over at Oga's. Don't be disappointed in the size. I was, but I think if you like spicy, liqueurs, or like, or spicy cocktails, you'll enjoy that one. So, um,
Good tip.
but yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, a good tip because I don't drink very much. I just went in there a couple times and I've always had something called the fuzzy tauntaun. I think because it had tequila.
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
know
yeah,
what I'm
that's-
ordering, so it had tequila. I was like, I know tequila, so I'll have
Yeah.
that. It was good.
Yeah, that's my favorite too. I love the
Yeah.
fuzzy tauntaun.
It was also like 10:30 in the morning. I'm like on a Tuesday. I'm like, I should not be in a bar. I mean, I know it's Oga's Cantina, but it all boils down to I am in a bar at 10:30 in the morning on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
This is so wrong, but
Yep.
I wanted to, I want to see DJ Rex. I wanted to see, since I've been 4 years old, I've been watching, the Cantina on the movie. Like I'm here now. So you got to order a drink, So I guess when in Rome, I guess here we go down.
No, absolutely.
Down the chute.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That was wild. But then when I thought about it, I'm like, it's 10:30 on a Tuesday.
I know. Well, yeah, that same day, because I was in a national showcase and I was looking for stuff to drink. And there was like a little cart open in Italy, and I was able to get a limoncello spritzer. I love limoncello, and I was like, all right, let me see what this is, about. But it was actually one of the worst things I had on that trip. I'm like, oh, I don't know if these people at like 9 a.m. know how to make a limoncello spritzer right now. So
yeah, the best
probably just wasn't a good time to get an alcoholic beverage.
The bartenders are asleep at 9 a.m.
Yeah,
I'm sure the good ones.
Yeah.
Let me. So I have something in your notes here that I'm curious about. 'Cause I didn't know you could even do this. So it says that night you guys left studios, but you ordered takeout from Trattoria El Forno, because I love Trattoria El Forno.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could order takeout. Like that's interesting
Yeah.
to me. So how'd that all work?
Yeah, so I think it was around like 6 o'clock where me and my buddy just kind of like, I did everything I wanted to do. We had been going since 6 a.m. So he was leaving for the night. And then I went back to the boardwalk, kind of showered and cleaned up. But also, again, coincidentally, my other best friend and his wife, I had found out when before I left, they had been, in Florida for like a month, just working, from Jupiter. And I found out they were going to Disney that same weekend. So as I'm like on the Skyliner back to the boardwalk, I'm looking at my Disney plans, and I see that they have a reservation booked for Trattoria El Forno that same night. And I was like, hey, if you want to meet for drinks afterwards, I'm staying at the boardwalk. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So, getting back to the hotel, I cleaned up, and then I was like, all right, I need some food. I had so many carbs that day. I'm like, I need just pure protein,
right?
And vegetables. And I need to put something besides carbs in my stomach. And I found that Trattoria El Forno was doing takeout. And I saw there was a big grilled swordfish on the steak with vegetables. I'm like, this is perfect. This is all I need. So I ordered it. I picked it up. I grabbed the table on the boardwalk. I was by myself at the time, and I just kind of watched people on the boardwalk as I ate my food, and it was phenomenal. It was a beautiful night. I lucked out with the weather that trip as well. It wasn't that hot, but it was a beautiful night at the boardwalk. So yeah, takeout, it was good. I liked it. I still think, it's better experience going into Trattoria El Forno. I've been there my last 4 trips now, mostly because we were trying to do last minute things, and we're like, oh, let's just go to Trattoria El Forno. We always have a good meal there. So it's always open.
Yes.
We're always able to get a table.
It's always
there.
good. I'm with you. I love it.
It's always good.
It is. It's solid. It's easy to get to, right? I mean, you just walk right over.
Very easy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's a great place. Now, so is that on the app though? You can just do a takeout on the app. I mean,
that was the app. Again,
I
don't know if they still have it. Again,
it's been a little bit. But still, oh my god,
it's a little outdated. But check to see if they, they still have takeout. So.
And then you went over to Abracadabra. We don't talk about that much, but was that pleasant? Nice.
Yeah. So again, my whole night was just spent outside of Trattoria El Forno and Abracadabra. My friends ended up, meeting me out there. And then two of my Disney Instagram friends who I've, talked to for a long time, never met, but one is a local and one was also visiting at the same time. So we all met together. So there was like five of us all hanging out. No one knew each other besides me and my best friend, and we all just got along and having drinks and having a good time. So it's like that's what I love about this. It's just like this is supposed to be a solo trip, and it's not at all. I'm just like seeing all my friends meet people the first time. It's like, it's like we've known them for so long, and yeah, it was just fun. The drinks were good. Well, I had one that was really bad. I don't know if they still have it on the menu. It was called the Coney Negroni. I had never had a Negroni before, so maybe I realized I don't like Negronis. I'm not sure. But otherwise I had some other drinks and it was good, but I was in good company, great weather on the boardwalk, people watching. We had a great, cause I was there early enough. I already had a table. So my friends just kind of joined in and, then, some of them went to Jelly Rolls and we kind of, parted ways and that was it. So it was, great evening, out there.
When the weather is nice, the boardwalk is so underrated for just to spending a night with friends. Because you got you got $22 pieces of cake. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
we've gone just messing around. No, but it's usually you got ice cream, you got live entertainment, you got jelly rolls, you got abracadabra, you got pizza window. Now you got a 28-foot long mozzarella stick if you want. I know. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, it's such a great place to go. It's also unexpected of what's going to happen. For example, on our last trip, I went with a lot of people back in March, and it was my two kids and my family, we were supposed to like go to Fort Wilderness and like hang out, but it was just raining a lot. And we were staying at the Wilderness Lodge and we were just trying to find something to do. And we had to make an audible and we ended up booking a last minute, like 8-person reservation at Trattoria El Forno. And again, 8 people last minute. That's, it was at like 6 o'clock to like 5:30, 6 o'clock. But after we had dinner, we walk outside and we were planning to get back to the resort because my kids need to go to bed. But these two like acrobats were out there, they were a mother and daughter duo. And we ended up watching the full 30-minute set because my kids were just so into it. Like they loved it, dancing. And my one daughter even got involved into the set, so it's like, it's just having that memory, I'll remember that memory over like whatever we did at like Magic Kingdom one day or something, so yeah.
And that's the stuff again that we all remember for our Walt Disney World even Disneyland, like our Disney vacations, but it's hard for the Disney accountants to quantify that, to put into a spreadsheet. So they cut that stuff and it kills me because that is the best stuff, the streetmosphere and the
stuff like that is what brings
Street.
Me
100% is my favorite.
It brings me back to Disney because 100%. Of like all of the unexpectedness of what's going to happen.
Yes.
And every time I go, so many different unexpected things are going to happen. And I'm like, I came back in March and immediately I'm like, all right, we got to go back. And like Mike, I came back in March. We did a trip report with you. And then I think like a couple weeks, like a week or two later, I emailed you back saying, all right, Mike, we already got a trip planned for next March. Let's get on the books again. So
absolutely. And by the way, shout out to Gina. She is tuned in as we record this show live. She's at a Magic Kingdom dessert party viewing area. Have a dessert for me, Gina, as you're down there. She says she's waiting for the fireworks. She says Magic Kingdom is nuts tonight. But it's good kind of nuts. It's very peaceful here in the Be Our Guest Podcast studios. But you're winning, so have fun with that and enjoy the fireworks.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking in. All right, so let's get over to, speaking of Magic Kingdom, man, she gave us the perfect segue right there. Thank you, Gina. You went to the Magic Kingdom and on Saturday, so give us some highlights of that day real quick.
Yeah, so Saturday I woke up early I got to Magic Kingdom, for rope drop, or I should say early entry. Got all the fast passes I needed for the day. I was planning on doing Magic Kingdom, then going to Animal Kingdom, and then going back to Magic Kingdom at night. So, I had been in Magic Kingdom by myself, at night, but never in the morning. So it was, definitely interesting vibe. I tried to do the opposite of what other people were doing. I kind of spent my time kind of meandering through the areas I wouldn't do, trying different snacks. I went to Sleepy Hollow and got that fresh fruit waffle sandwich, which was amazing. I went to, one of the popular floats was called the I Lava You float. I don't know if it's still there
Yeah.
over at Aloha Isle or Sunshine Tree Terrace. I forget which one it's over at, but I also found out, I think at this stage of my life, I just don't like floats in general. So I don't know if I'd ever get like a float again. It was good, but I know people go, they go crazy for it. So again, just trying all these different foods and drinks. So yeah, it was kind of like your standard morning, just going on all the rides. I felt bad for this one guy who was riding Buzz Lightyear, and I was taking photos and stuff with my phone, and he also took out his phone, but I guess I had a good view of him. But I saw him drop his phone, and it landed on the track that wasn't moving, and I just saw it as we're moving forward, and the phone's going backwards. I'm like, well, that's.
Oh
Sucks for
my
that
God.
guy.
Okay. That was welcome to my nightmare tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody, you just gave thousands of listeners nightmares
I know.
tonight. Oh my gosh. And yeah, put a strap on your phone or something.
I know.
Or put it, just
Yeah.
keep it in
I
your
use
pocket, people.
what is it called? The pop sockets now.
Yeah, I do too.
So-
But oh my gosh, I'll be holding that sucker tight.
I know.
Oh my God, because I'm
Yeah.
always scared of that. Because now I've gone to the magnet one, and I mean, it seems to be okay, but yeah, that makes me super nervous. Now, so I like that though, because I think as we go more often, and as we get a little bit older in our age. I mean, we're not in our 20s anymore. That it is, I think, for us more about atmosphere and just taking in the sights, the sounds, the snacks, the treats. I mean, we do like to do all the attractions. Don't get us wrong, but I don't think it's about quantity anymore. I think it's about the quality of the visit.
Yeah, to me, it's not about hitting all the attractions. Because like by 11:30, I was like, all right, I was so tired from yesterday. I'm going back to the resort. I also want to make use of my resort because, I had never stayed at the Boardwalk Inn before. At the time it wasn't renovated yet. It is renovated now. I think the DVC rooms have been renovated. But I wanted to just take a nap. I went back to the Boardwalk Deli, had like a really nice, I think it was the corned beef Reuben sandwich, which was like phenomenal. But it was also great timing because I was resting in my room during all the rain. Like,
yeah.
There's
no better nap than during a Florida thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, it puts me in a coma.
Yeah.
Yes.
I missed the rain because I rode Rise of the Resistance, which is like, 25 minute experience. And then when I rested in my room, it was also during a rainstorm.
The best.
So I was like, wow, this is perfect. I saw I was looking at the wait times, like all the rides at Magic Kingdom were shut down. Animal Kingdom was shut down. So by the time the rainstorm, went, that's when I headed over to Animal Kingdom. I met it with my buddy and wife again, and we rode Flight of Passage, and then they kind of went and did their own thing. And then I also met up with my other, my friend that I met off Instagram. We were all in the Disney Instagram community. She was with me the night before, and then she was with me the rest of the night. So we were at Animal Kingdom. We rode a bunch of rides together. They don't have this anymore, but my favorite snack of the whole trip was the spiced potato hand pies at the Kusafari shop in Africa. Fortunately, they don't have those anymore. I did check the menu, but tried lots of different foods. But also, then we literally spent 2 hours, eating and drinking at Nomad Lounge.
Did you have one of those couches on the outside, looks out over the river? Because we've done that actually once. That was awesome.
We were on the inside.
Okay,
because I think all the couches were full when we went.
Now we did that one time during a thunderstorm, and that was.
I wish.
Oh my God, that was the best day. Except now, listen to this. Scotty G, he got the Parent of the Year award because this was back in the Fast Pass days. Yes, it was. It was a long time ago. We had Fast Passes for Expedition Everest. Or we had fast passes for something. Maybe it was Dinosaur. It was something on the other side of the park.
Oh, yeah.
And Mallory and Emily wanted to ride it. And we were all sitting there just chilling on a couch at Nomad Lounge in a pouring rain. I mean, a pouring rain. And God bless them, Scott took those two girls across that big old park so they could use their fast passes. While the rest of us just laughed our butts off as he got so But yeah,
Sorry,
no,
Scott.
but No Man Lounge is such an easy place to hang with friends.
Oh, Noma Lounge is great. The drinks was great. Service was great. I actually had I ordered a drink and it was, I hate doing this, but the drink was terrible. I did not like it. I just don't think it was for me. I told the bartender, I'm like, or not the waiter, I'm like, listen, I will pay for this drink. I don't like it. And I'll take something else. But he was kind. He did take it off my bill, and I got the high tower rocks. It was like a watermelon tequila drink, which is great. So that was it was way better. But if the Delang Delight is still on the menu, just stay away from that one. Don't bother with it.
Be careful. I always go Leaping Lizard. I mean, for obvious reasons. That's
I don't think I've had that one. Yeah,
I don't even know what's in it, but it's called the Leaping Lizard. So I mean, it's you got to get that.
Yeah.
So now you closed out the trip though with the Magic Kingdom because we have a few minutes left. So I mean, is it like our philosophy? We always say kind of like those last few minutes of a vacation or last few hours of vacation, dude. You're just like on that high. You're like I'm going.
I always gotta end. I usually end up Magic Kingdom, and I always stay there late. It was open late that night, so my friend actually drove us, again, she's a local. She drove us from Animal Kingdom to Magic Kingdom and actually rode the ferry for the first time. Now, my favorite, I think my favorite activity at Disney World is riding the boats, but it's even more special when it's at sunset. So it was also sunset when we were riding the ferry, and it was a gorgeous evening. And I'm like, yeah, this is the life right here. I just soaked it all in. I loved it. And, we stayed until park closing. So, we just hung out and did all the different rides. I'm sure I got more treats, and it was great because my last ride was also my favorite ride, Space Mountain. And, I met up with my buddy and my, his wife again, and, closed out the night over there. And it was just such a perfect, I flew in late Thursday night. I flew home early Sunday morning, and I packed in so much in 2 days, but I also felt rested enough where I didn't kill myself at all. I had really great company, which I didn't think I would when I booked this trip. I thought I was just going to be doing, I thought it was going to be a solo trip. The only time I was really solo was when I went to Magic Kingdom in the morning, and that was it. So yeah, the next day, I already said this before, I woke up at 5:45 and took a flight home, and that was it. So
yeah, so basically this was a solo trip that wasn't a solo trip. I mean, you basically went to the Magic Kingdom for a couple hours.
Yeah, I call it the somewhat solo trip.
Exactly.
That's how I always
title this appropriately because I mean it's testament though to what this whole thing, because you've been involved with the Disney community for a long time too, and all your projects, and it's about the relationships you get to make. I mean, same thing for me. I go down on air quotes solo trips without my family. Marathon weekend, I'll go to Disneyland and at the end of January. But I mean, they're so far from solo that I mean, I'll be moving around the pack of 30 all the time because of the friends I've made. And I consider these friends, so many of them, family because we've been meeting up in Januaries for the last 15 years. A lot of us, and it's just it's like a big reunion every year. So I know exactly where you're coming from. So real quick though. Any tips you would give anybody that are thinking about going down on a air quote solo trip or, without the family, maybe just meeting up with some other folks, maybe that they've met online or something like that. Anything that was different in planning or execution?
I mean, you just have so much freedom. I mean, even though I was with people, they were also kind of there for me. So I still felt like I was just doing everything that I wanted to do. So you just have the freedom to do what you want. Don't be afraid to dine by yourself. People also love to talk. So don't, also talk to people if you want to. It's just, I think it's just the freedom. I think you can just go about and do whatever you want at any time you want, slow down and relax. And that's it.
Good tip. All right. Hey, real quick though, before we catch out of here, where can people catch up with you online? Because obviously you're online. Where can people follow everything you're doing?
Yeah, sure. I'm not on Instagram too much anymore, but you can follow me on my Disney Instagram, Park Chatter Pod, because I also have my podcast, the Park Chatter Podcast. So we talk about Disney. That's we're very casual about it. So we kind of do an episode when we're not busy. So, so that's what I have going on right now.
All right. Sounds great, Matt. Thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it. And hope you have a wonderful holiday season. All right. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure. Adventures out there, and go get it. Even if you're going down solo and it turns out not to be solo, that's the best kind of trip. So if you're headed out to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, even Adventures by Disney, we'll help you book that trip for no additional cost to you. Concierge level service each and every time. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you do that holiday shopping. That really does help us out. It's one extra click, takes literally like 5 seconds. Then do all that shopping, and it supports the podcast at the same time. Just come over to beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And finally, thank you to our Patreon supporters. You guys help keep this show on the air. We cannot thank our Patreon supporters enough. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at beourguestmike. Would love to connect with you over there. And of course, we have the Be Our Guest Podcast Clubhouse, free for all. No ads, no nonsense, just a ton of fun, 24/7, 365. Check it out today over at beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. And finally, Sunday night, it's you, me, and Scotty G. It's the BOGP open line. We have the phone lines open. We turn the show over to you. You call in. We talk Disney, anything that's on your mind. We have a great time every Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Get in on the fun. So we'll see you this Sunday night. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. All right, time to get out of here until we get back together on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. Got a question? Drop it to me, Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. So for Matt out in Jersey, I'm Mike here in Missouri. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.